conversations shaping the future of travel in association with News 18 Network.
Well, the development of working from one's home office combined with forced immobility for more than a year has transformed the notion of travel. Now, travelers are looking to be able to take advantage of it as well as be in good working conditions. But with one eye on the world's climate health, the new age travelers are also ensuring that their leisure travel plans are not only experience-filled but sustainable as well. To discuss more on Singapore's plan to attract more leisure travelers, sustainable travel programs, and the art of slow traveling, I'm here joined by Jin Choi, Chief Sales and Marketing Officer for Mandai Wildlife Group. Welcome. Naveen Kondu, MD, EBX Cash Travel Services, Brian Tellis, founder, Radioactive Ventures, and ex-founder and CEO, Fountainhead, and Nikhil Sharma, Regional Director, Eurasia, Wyndham Hotels and Resorts. Welcome. May I first pick your thoughts on what leisure means to you or what it has meant for your industry? Let me start with you.
It's not a new term at all as far as I'm concerned, because I've been all the time involved in the industry of business and leisure travel. When I started my company in 1998, my tagline was mixing the art of business and pleasure. So you have to understand that every business traveler is a leisure traveler in its own form. It's very relevant because a person, when he's taking a business travel, he is not only focused on his business. While he'll do that, that's his main agenda, he will also venture out to explore the location and the destination. So he will look at the food, he will look at the culture, he will look at the heritage. People always take out some time in between, unless you're hard pressed and you just fly into Singapore or fly out of Singapore or fly into Dubai or out of there the same day or 2 days. You will always find people exploring the place either early in the morning. A runner like me or a runner like Abraham would always go out for a run in the morning and explore a place, sit in a cafe, have a coffee, and come back. Besides that, if there are events happening in those locations, whether it's a sporting event or it's a musical event, it's a concert, they will also find time to do that. And I haven't experienced anything very different post-pandemic what was there before pandemic. So for me, a business traveler is a leisure traveler. A leisure traveler may not be a business traveler. So a business traveler is also a leisure traveler.
Nikhil, how has the hotel industry as such, or hospitality industry as such, adapted to this whole work from anywhere movement? And had they had to redesign their offerings, keeping that in mind? What was the new trend that you saw come into hotels? And that would be of interest to others as to what should a place be offering to have people stay for long at their properties and work from those properties as well.
What we've seen as a trend, Mugdha, over a period of time is people wanting to go to remote locations and being connected to work. So it's just amazing how these small towns, the small hotels, and even tier 2, tier 3 cities have had an influx of people, not on weekends, but through the week, flowing through, wanting to stay there and explore the place. Right? So that's the first part. The second part is you see a lot of them slowing down and actually bringing family. So the first part of leisure that you said is actually happening, and it's one of the positives of the pandemic was a lot of Indians started discovering India, and you heard that in the earlier panel, and the statistics and the data are just there to show that the Indians are traveling much more internally and discovering the country. Of course, because the borders were closed, but yeah, that's there.
Brian, how is leisure different from leisure? And in your opinion, when people are coming for a short stay at a hotel versus a longer stay at a hotel, what is the expectation really?
The lines are getting blurred for people between pleasure and business, right? People are looking to get maximum out of their investment, be it money or time or effort. Now that as the backdrop, I do believe that what defines a trip, or what one takes out of the trip, the effectiveness, is purpose. I think today's traveler, be it the pleasure traveler or the business traveler is really defined in his or her mind about why he or she is on this trip, what they wish to get out of it. There's extreme clarity. I'm generalizing, of course. From a business point of view, he definitely wants to get a lot more out of it beyond just the finite business purpose. That's the first thing that I think people are clear about, the purpose, why they're on this trip. The second thing that people want to get out of it is bragging rights. And when I say bragging rights, I don't necessarily only mean social media bragging rights. I mean, I want to feel good if I've done a trip. When I come back, I want to feel good about what I've done. I want to feel good if I'm talking to, whether it's people at home or it's people around the world that I want to communicate that with. I want some bragging rights. I don't mean it in a bad way. I mean it in a really good way. I want to come out of the trip feeling that I'm that much richer for the time, money, effort spent on that trip.
Economic sustainability on one side and climate sustainability on one side. How challenging is it?
It's extremely important that we try and get to carbon neutral. Singapore is a great example of achieving carbon neutral. India says 2070. We'll see if we can get there. But as an organization, we're part of a Sustainability Hospitality Alliance, which is the world's leading 18 hotel companies work with Sustainable Hospitality Alliance to make the planet and the people a better place to live in. At Wyndham, what we've been trying to do, and we're making it a brand standard going forward in 2023, is just work on 3 or 4 parameters, and we have an internal program.
Jean, at Mandai, how has it worked with this whole wellness piece and, of course, the sustainability bit? I do see that Mandai themselves also take it upon themselves to put sustainable co-living, traveling together. What are some of the highlights?
Sustainability is very core to what we do, and we do think that it's very important. And it's definitely an emerging trend. The customers are much more aware. I do see some, conflicting things that happen for organizations. For example, a hotel, some hotels will say, oh, maybe you can use your towel one more day, but then everything is packed in plastic. So what kind of message are you sending? So I think before we do anything, we need to really look at the organization and walk the talk. So for us, we only we do sustainable procurement, and as well as for our food source, we have sustainable seafood. We reduce single-use plastic. We do not offer any bottled water. In fact, by doing so, we actually impacted the business by $1 million. We even have dispensers near our F&B outlets where you can just get a cup that you bring and then get your own water. We are also, with the rejuvenation project of Mandai, going to have an eco resort, where at the moment we're also looking at how about without air conditioning, and how do you still keep it comfortable for the customers. We also discuss not using plastic bottles. So how do you make sure it's still hygienic using a glass bottle and so forth? So there's a lot of thought behind going sustainable, and more customers will start looking out for that. A lot of corporations are putting out messages about reducing carbon. Singapore has a commitment to 2030. For us, it's at 2024.
Wonderful. Thank you, Jean. Thank you, gentlemen, for this wonderful interaction and all the insights.
Singapore Tourism Board presents Singapore Reimagine Global Conversations, shaping the future of travel in association with News 18 Network. Focus.